So it's always a sliding into presence. So there's not this point where you start, so now I'm going to start to meditate. But it's really like just very gentle. You just follow your own rhythm, your own pace. Adjusting the posture, becoming aware of how you sit. And then you might want to close your eyes at one point, but also you're very welcome, of course, then, particularly if you get really sucked into stories, then it helps to just open your eyes and ground yourself again, and you look a bit around. And then see what you find wholesome with my instructions, with my invitations. Yeah, and then you can ride again on the in-breath, slide with the in-breath into the body. And this is a shift from the head into the body. You might notice that you have a sense sometimes that you're living in your head like a little mini-me behind your eyes. And that is the distortion of reality. So see if you can shift a bit from the head into the body, from thoughts into life. And nothing is excluded. So it is an embrace of what is. And it is an embrace of what you bring with you into this moment. Maybe now after the break, maybe you bring something, maybe some joy, maybe you felt discomfort in the break or alone. So it doesn't matter what it is. You bathe it in a caring breath. And then with the out-breath giving space, softening, releasing unnecessary effort. And relaxing the grasping, this grasping which wants something else and which is struggling with something. So you relax that grasping. And of course thoughts continue to arise, but See if you can take them less important. You don't emphasize them so much. And instead you bring the flow of the breath to the foreground. And then, if possible, you bring the stillness into the foreground. And here the stillness which is always already here. You don't need to become still. You bring the stillness or the peace which is already always here into the foreground. Can you hear the stillness in the background, surrounding, underlying and pervading the movements of your breath, the movements of the sounds? There is a vast presence which we share, where we can meet from heart to heart. And returning and resting, opening to the vastness with the heart like the sky. So it's not so much that you meditate, but that you let yourself be meditated. It's like sitting in the morning sun after a cold night, just bathing with your whole body. Bathing in presence. So this way of sitting is a bit of a journey. You're not arriving somewhere. You're not trying to attain something. It's relating with curiosity and love to whatever arises. So whatever arises, you notice that. Lovingly curious. And you're sitting in stillness with your whole body from the toes to the top of your head. So there's the content of your experience, like clouds, sensations in your body, the breath, some of them comfortable, there's also probably some discomfort, and then there's your feelings and your thoughts, There's this voice and the other sounds in this room and also from outside. So all that are appearances within consciousness, appearances within your mind. And they change, they are energetic, they flow, they move like clouds. But then there is also something else, something which does not change. Which is like the sky, within which everything comes and goes. The vastness of your own being, the vastness of your own heart. Do you know what I mean? It's like the depth of the ocean, even if the surface is quite turbulent. There's always the depths of your being, where you are most deeply yourself, deeper than your personality, deeper than your roles, deeper than your feelings. That's what you really mean when you say, I am, I am. And it's pervading you and surrounding you. Timeless, boundaryless and centerless. So this is the kind of two levels of this, or two dimensions which we explore in meditation. The relative level, the conditioned level, that which changes, that which moves. In Buddhism, this is also called the display of your karma. Yeah? It's not falling from the sky, it's not by chance, but it's just a continuation of what you have done in the past, or a continuation of your habits. In the Tibetan language, that level of your mind is called Sem. And there's a lot of tension in Sem. There's struggle in Sem. And this struggle comes from a distortion we put onto reality, a distortion we put onto this moment. And this distortion we have to explore more deeply while we go along. How do we distort the present moment so that we struggle? How do we do that? How do we disconnect from the truth of peace through this distortion? And it's basically the dualistic split between there's an I here and there's a separate objective world out there. And this separate objective world out there is often quite hostile. So that is a projection, that is a distortion of reality. We create separateness and then we suffer from it. And this is something we need to look deeply into our own experience to discover, wow, this is a mindfuck, I'm doing it. So it's not something you have to believe, or it's something you need to actually sit down on your butt and look into your experience and discover it yourself. Or discover yourself that you make it up. The mini-me, you make up the mini-me, and then you make up this horrible word mine. Yeah, my problems, my money. And then you make up the idea of a separate solid world out there, an objective world, which exists out there, waiting to be discovered by you. We have a sense that we are physical beings moving through a physical universe. And that is a distortion. Which, by the way, of course, science has already confirmed, that we are not physical beings moving through a physical universe. An objective physical universe. So, while that's the wisdom part in the Buddhist teachings, so the wisdom part is looking through this projection. But then, while we do that, we also need to use provisional, progressive methods of healing or dissolving the immediate reason for our pain, for our struggle, for our suffering, and that is the tension in our heart. The root cause for the tension in our heart is that distortion of reality, but we also need to work with some provisional methods. Yeah. So, and that's what I will give you many instructions about how to. Yeah. Basically, it's basically what we what we are invited to discover in meditation is the power, the transformative healing power of, now I say this word, love. And if it's too cheesy for you, too American, say something like curious, caring attention. Because that's love. I mean, that's love. If you're curiously caring, you're paying attention. So that's where love arises. Or when you love someone, you pay curiously caring attention. So and then with that, you start to dissolve there's the healing, yeah. So the healing is happening. So it's like this, and then it relaxes, and you reduce your suffering. And then you also, at the same time, you need to continue to investigate into the wisdom part of the teachings. That part in the Buddhist tradition is called vipassana or vipassana, like looking deeply. Through direct experience, yes, through looking deeply, not through cognition, but through more direct, not through thinking about the things, but like looking. And what we need to learn is how to look and where to look. In the beginning, it's unknown because we are used to rely too much on our concepts, on thinking about things. You know, we are used to rely upon that a lot. But in meditation, we do something else. We analyze, we investigate reality not through concepts, but through looking. Like the same as we can study an apple, but it's something completely different to taste it. So, of course, we all use also provisional methods of, working with our struggle, working with our pain, working with depression or anxiety. And that's fine. I mean, some of these methods are helpful. But the invitation here is to also experiment or allow, as part of that progressive path, to also allow the curiosity of what happens when sometimes you just say yes. Yes, this is how I feel. This is what it is. And it's damn difficult for me. And then you take it into your arms. Yes. And then you might even for a moment think, and I'm not alone with it. There's many others, just in my little part of Copenhagen, who are just as fucked as I am. Who are just as broken as I am. Who are just as overwhelmed as I am. Why? Because life is so damn difficult. And that's not your fault. It's not that you are not smart enough or that you have not read the right books, or you need to do some more workshops. No, it will remain difficult. It will be a damn problem after another. What a relief. There's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with you having problems. Don't make a problem out of the fact that you have problems. It's life. You should have read the contract before you signed in. According to the Buddhist teachings, there's a long waiting list of beings wanting to be born here. Yeah? It's called the precious human life. It's actually quite difficult to get into this place. Because as human beings we have both. We have a lot of problems. Damn. It's too much, yeah? But we also have a bit of space, a bit of capacity, a bit of, capacity to work with it and to learn and to improve and to learn to be more lovingly present with problems. So that's why there is this long waiting list to get here. And it's rare. It's rare to have that opportunity, that mixture of having a difficult life, yeah, and it will continue to be difficult, but also, to have access to the practices, to the teachings, to other people who support you in increasing your capacity to love this, to be with what it means to be human. And you are not alone with it. Okay. I think it was a really beautiful start. Already a wonderful silence in between. And I think it will be even more so when this room gets a bit filled with our, after all this, the whole day with coaching and fixing and controlling, in the evening,